Well, and Buck, let's get to the policy a little bit about the decision to pull out of Syria. So President Trump on the trip talked about how the stated goal was to defeat ISIS. We've accomplished that job, have we?
Well, we've certainly put ISIS on the defensive and taken away its caliphate, which was the stated mission. The reason the president has done this, has made this statement, and quite honestly, I think it could have been done in a way that was maybe a little more timed and collaborative with some of the other decision makers that he's going to have implement this. I mean, it was kind of unveiled rather quickly. But the reason he's doing it is because he is trying to shift the U.S. away from what has been going on since I was a sophomore in college, which is we invade countries, we stay in those countries, we never leave those countries, and we're then responsible for rebuilding, for training, for funding, for preventing security collapse. True in Iraq, true in Afghanistan. He does not want that to be true in Syria. There are obviously very real concerns about our Kurdish allies. There's also the possibility of an ISIS resurgence. But there's always going to be downsides to not having the single greatest military in the history of the world in a country holding it together. We're never going to reach a point where it's a better thing for us not to be in a place like Syria. So I think the president's trying to do what he can with the realities of the timetables he has.
Jim, I think there are a lot of people that are split on this issue, like myself. But for the individuals that are proponents of staying in Syria, when is ever the right time to leave for those people, do you think?
Yeah, there's no good argument for keeping a footprint in Syria. This notion that somehow if we can hold on to a piece of Syria, we will provide space to participate in a political settlement. There's not going to be a political settlement. Syria is owned by the Iranians and the Russians. That's not going to change unless somebody wants to fight World War III over it. Sensible people will say, look, the issue we have with the president is not to say we're going to transition our footprint in Syria. Makes perfect sense. It's how we do that. And I think, quite honestly, but the way the president announced it, and we still don't really understand what the plan is for Syria, that's what I think what's clearly a concern. Do it in a way that we don't sacrifice the gains that we made and we can continue to protect our interests. Look, the day that the president announced we're leaving Syria, we've actually increased our military activity since he said that. So obviously, we're not just walking away. So I think there's a bit of too much stress here. And the same thing in Iraq. We're in Iraq. We're doing advise and assist mission. We're keeping it so we don't have to go back. And I think we'll keep a footprint in Afghanistan. But the same thing, we're not there permanently. We're providing an advise and assist mission. So I think this president's really tried to walk the line between running away from things the way Obama did and and trying to solve problems by invading countries the way we did in the previous administration.
All right. Well, thank you both for joining me tonight.
Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you.
Thank you.